Racism in America. Education. Are black people dumber than white people? Video number 7. Before we start, this is for people living in the United States. I put this in the front of all my videos that are in English because I want to help people with their student loans. I know many people think, feel, or believe that they will never pay off their student loans. Yes, they are right. They are correct. There are over 2 million people over the age of 60 that are still paying off their student loans. There is a federal law that was passed in the 80s that will get rid of all your student loans in 25 years. The link to this video is at the top of this video, in the description below, and will be at the end of this video. I am on Archaea Drive in Glenwood, Illinois. This is a typical or common black or African American neighborhood. However, the town of Glenwood is not an all-black or African American town. In the 70s and the 80s, when black people started moving in, the white people started moving out. Now, today, white people are moving back into black areas because they have discovered that for the same size house in a white neighborhood, the houses in the black neighborhood cost half as much. Thus, they can get a lot more for their money in a black area. Plus, black areas are safe, and our schools are just as good as the white areas. This home is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house that cost $300,000. Over the decades, many have created reasons to justify their actions. Actions where there is no justification. For example, in 1994 a Harvard professor published a book called The Bell Curve. The book attempted to justify why some nationalities are more intelligent than others. Because he was a Harvard professor gave his book credibility. The problem was that when one examined the data he used, one found that he only used the data that justified his conclusion and rejected the rest. Thus, this discredited his book and proved that it is a racist book. Over the decades, many have used creative methods to keep people of color down. I am going to tell you my story and what I have experienced, and I will also tell you what other black people have experienced. All of these stories are about education and sports. However, before I start, you must take into account the following. 1. Children do not know what they are supposed to know or what they should learn. 2. Parents trust the school system to teach their children equally, especially if their black child is in the same classroom as white children. 3. Many black parents believe that white schools would give their children a better education than black schools. From 3rd grade to high school, I went primarily to white schools, and they also bused in poor black children to attend these schools. What I did not know was that from 3rd grade to 8th grade, at these primarily white schools, many black children did not learn math. We did not learn how to do long division, fractions, or decimals. You have to ask the question, how can a child who goes to school every day for 5 years not learn anything? The answer is that the educational system was designed this way. Thus, from 4th grade to 6th grade, without any placement exams, the school put the same black children and no white children in remedial classes where we learned 100% nothing. They did not try to teach anything. Plus, from 4th grade to 6th grade, the school put the same black children, and very poor white children, with the same teacher. The only thing this teacher taught us was art history and nothing else. I cannot remember having a math class for 7th grade and 8th grade. Stuff like this was taking place all over America. Every school system used a different method, but the result was always the same. They bused in the black children, but this does not mean that they were teaching the black children anything. The summer before I attended high school, my mother enrolled me in summer school in an all-black school in Chicago. This is the school I attended that summer. One of my aunts was a school teacher at this school, which was why I could attend summer school at this grade school. Within 2 weeks, I learned long division, fractions, and decimals. Thus, from 3rd grade to 8th grade, no teacher in the white school I attended ever attempted to teach me anything. Let me show you around the neighborhood. This area is 66 and Racine Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. This is the park that is next to the school. The park is called Ogden Park, and this is a big park. I will show you the pool where my cousins and I would have a good time. One of my grandmothers, A few of my other aunts and uncles once lived in this area. Unfortunately, like many black areas, this area was devastated by the worldwide financial crash of the year 2008, and still has yet to recover. One of my aunts worked as a telephone operator. Back in the 70s, when there were pay phones, the telephone operators could hear you before they answered the call. My aunt told me that she heard some men planning a robbery. After my aunt was done with the call, she called the police, and the police were waiting for the men. I wonder if these men ever figured out how the police knew. Plus, as a telephone operator, my aunt caught her husband cheating. When I got to high school, my freshman year of high school, the school still placed me in remedial math class. I do not remember what my grade was. All I remember was that I was angry at being placed in a class below my ability. One of my college degrees is in math and statistics. Plus, I got 2 master's degrees. Thus, like many black children, we were not lazy students that did not want to do the work. However, when I started college, I did not know the structure of a paragraph or grammar. Thus, many black students started college at a deficit. Because of this, many of us had a long way to catch up to the white students. My friend John went to another high school. John is black, and the school he attended was also primarily white. John had a problem with high school physics. John went to the teacher and asked for help. No matter how often he asked for help from the teacher, John could not understand physics. When John was in college, he took physics. This was when John realized that his white high school physics teacher purposely or intentionally left out information or was misleading him, which is why he could not understand physics. When I was in college, I started in engineering. In one of my classes, I was having difficulties understanding how to work the problems. I went to the teacher's assistant for help. The teacher assistant kept telling me that he was going to show me a shortcut on how to work the problems. I was like, how can you show me a shortcut before I even understand how to do the basics? I went to the professor, and he was no help. I did this many of times. I even told the professor that his teacher assistant would only show us shortcuts before we understood how to do the basics. The professor did nothing. I had to drop the class. In grad school, I was a finance teacher's assistant, so I know that this engineering teacher's assistant and the professor were intentionally attempting not to help. It is because of stuff like this is why many black students never went to college or dropped out of college. Thus, there are many black and brown students that could have achieved many things if given the opportunity. Therefore, black people are not dumber than white people. It was the fact that the playing field was not level, and they put obstacle after obstacle in our way, which is why many black students gave up. It was the same way in sports. As long as you play football or basketball, then no problems. However, in sports like gymnastics, tennis, or hockey, they did not want to coach or train you. They were very creative in their racism to keep you from being trained. My high school gymnastics coach would have some of the white kids come to his house, where he had some gymnastics equipment. Many other black athletes I knew had similar stories. This is why back in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, you did not see hardly any black athletes in gymnastics, tennis, swimming, golf, or hockey. Now they will say that they are not racist or prejudiced and show you black or brown students who they did help, the token 10%. They tell these token 10% black and brown students that they are special, that they are not like the other black or brown students. The other black or brown students are lazy, do not want to work, or want everything handed to them. These token 10% grew up to be conservatives, while the other 90% became liberals. You might see these token 10% on cable television shows like Fox Cable News. Plus, they all hated Obama. Obama was not part of that token 10%, which is why he grew up as a liberal. Obama graduated at the top of his class at Harvard, so they could not say that he only got into Harvard because of affirmative action. Affirmative action does not mean that they lower the requirements. You still have to meet all the requirements as a regular student or employee. Affirmative action only means that they will put aside spots for people of color and women. In the past, black and brown people did not know how to apply to universities such as Harvard or had to save money before they could apply. This all meant that by the time they applied, all the spots would be gone. In regards to employment, black and brown people might have 20 interviews with 20 different companies before getting hired for a job, whereas a white male would only have to go through 5 interviews before they got a job. Plus, many white managers would never hire a black or brown person, no matter how qualified he was. Some white managers might want to but would be too scared because it could affect their future promotions. Plus, most black professional women would never hire a black man. Many black and brown people in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s got their college degrees and graduate degrees. We all know and experience all the racist stuff that kept holding us back. Plus, many of us now have money. Thus, when it comes to our children, we know what to do. This is why you now see black and brown people in sports such as gymnastics, tennis, swimming, and hockey. Thank you for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video. For all my foreign viewers, most translation software is not 100% accurate. So, sorry about any mistakes. For a free copy of my music, go to my website. Remember, my music is only background music. Right now, my music is free, but if I have to start paying for extra services, then I might have to set a price for a download. If you want to know how to create your own music, then go to my other YouTube channel and look for the word Garageband. Creating your own music is easy. I did it and I cannot play a musical instrument. If you want to know how to translate a video into other languages, then go to my other YouTube channel and look for the word translate. The links are in the description below.